All right. Well, good morning. Thank you for coming. It's really good that we get a few people that are very interested in public schools. We think it's a pretty important. We think it's a pretty important topic. You know, how schools get funded, how schools get designed, and really, what I want to do real fast. I met some of you today, but let's take a real quick poll here of who we have listening. Who are the participants? We all have sort of a piece of ownership of this public school issue. So let's start with government people. We know we have at least one. How many other? Anybody else here? Yay, okay. So we've got government entities, people, legislatures that have to make this thing work. How about educators? I know we got one on the panel. Any other? Okay, good. So the people that have to use the facilities, the people that have to kind of, big stakeholders, try to make the education happen in these facilities. Contractors, I know I met at least one. Oh, look at that. Okay. The people that kind of put the facilities together, big stake in what's going on here. Finally, we get to what I would know better than all, I guess. Architects, planners, and engineers. I'm one of those. Okay, look at that. We got a lot of them, and I would expect that. So I think there's a lot of diversity. People are coming at public schools from a lot of different angles. And I think what really unites, I hope, everybody in this room, I think we're all in the game for the same reason. We want to get the best designed school facilities that we can for the most economic or the best value for the dollar, right? I mean, that's really how it's come to. Pretty easy, that's easy to say. Now the hard part, how do you do it, okay? Basically, what we've done on the architect side of this thing is assembled a committee of architects, and today we're supplemented by educators and other design professionals, but as a team, we've assembled a group of architects that are kind of devoted to trying to help be part of the solution. We basically have the AIA Pennsylvania Education Subcommittee. All of us on that committee live, eat, and sleep public schools. That's what we do. We design them in all sizes and shapes. You're going to hear about the panel. They're very qualified people, some of the committee members that are with me today. So you understand all that. We are all of the same mind. We truthfully believe that a well-designed public school will create a positive educational outcome. It's a good place for kids to learn, all right? We also believe that good, well-designed public schools are community assets. They go to the taxpayers that don't send children to school, and they lead value to that community. That's important. Finally, we think that if you do your front end work well, that ultimately a well-designed school is going to save the taxpayers money on the back end because of operating efficiencies. So those are things that, now, I don't think anybody in this room would say those are undesirable goals. I mean, those are pretty outcomes that would be pretty exciting things to happen. So our first point of baseline as the architects in this room, we feel that these investments are pretty major, and we are asking the state to stay involved in financing schools at some level. There's a lot of talk, you know, we're going to move on and we're going to do something else. We're not sure what that looks like, but we're saying, hey, let's have the state be a participant and continue to fund public schools. It's very, very important. We get that that's pretty complicated, and that's where it starts to break down. Everybody's got a different direction, and that's fine. It's very complicated. One thing that people maybe don't think about with architects are trained as problem solvers. Okay, we are trained as problem solvers. So we are anxious to be one of the pieces. We are anxious to be excited to be that group to help kind of craft a solution. So that takes us to the panel. We're going to look at that school piece from different angles today, and just to get the dialogue going. And we're going to start with the system that funds schools today, PlanCon. We're going to hear about the system that is currently being used to fund schools, and we're going to hear maybe some ideas that the committee had as a group about how we might make things better. That first panel is going to be led by Philip Foreman and Steve Krug. They're the next two at the table. I have their resumes in front of me, and they're very, now as all of our panelists are, all of our school guys, very knowledgeable people. Philip actually leads 6 different companies, so he is into schools big time. that take all the different pieces of schools. And some of these I can leave. Foreman architects and engineers, you'd expect that. Foreman program and construction managers, foreman building commissioning, foreman building design, foreman roofing. This is one, he'll sing you the jingle after. Go see him after. He has a, I can't even say it. It's Rapasap?
Rapasap, yes.
Go ahead.
Rapasap.
Okay, and you say, what the heck? He'll sing you that jingle. That is trying to stop the age-old problem. It's called change orders. Okay, so there's a man on top of it. And finally, I think what Philip should get acknowledged, he runs a charity that raises money for cancer that's been very, very successful. So Philip is really a good guy, as are all these people. I always say each guy down the line is my favorite, right? So right now, Philip's my favorite. Now we're going to move to my next favorite. Suddenly, my next favorite is going to be Steve Krug, okay? And some of you may know Steve because he's in the political arena here, as does Philip, really, in Harrisburg. But Stephen has been in the business doing these public school things for over 35 years. He specializes in master planning, energy-efficient design, feasibility studies. He gives a lot of advice in planning. He does sustainable design. He tells you funding. That's kind of good. How do you get money for stuff? And the local approval process. Any of you have ever been through a school project? Oh boy, that's a big one. And the PlanCon process, which is why he's here. He understands the current PlanCon process. He administrates it. All good stuff. He regularly writes for PSBA, so he knows what he's talking about. And finally, he is chairman, currently, of the Pennsylvania Climate Control Advisory Committee, and that is a government agency. So these two guys are going to put you in the know about PlanCon and some of our initial thoughts.